to our election candidate informational forum and our ISD 690 informational forum. It's awesome to see the turnout that we have here. Thank you so much for taking the time. This evening we'll be spending about an hour and a half together in a formal presentation. We'll be working with, of course, doing a presentation of each of the local candidates that have devoted to spending their evening here and educating you, all of our local voters. So again, a little bit about me and Warroad Community Partners. So again, my name is Jamie Nelson. I'm a membership and volunteer coordinator for Warroad Community Partners. And so we will give you a little bit more information about Warroad Community Partners as the evening progresses, but we are the nonprofit organization that is hosting this event this evening. So welcome. We'll get started with just a brief kickoff here. So we'd like to start the evening's event by having everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so again, welcome to tonight's event. We're excited to have everybody here. So as I mentioned, your Warroad Community Partners is a nonprofit organization, and one of our key pillars on which we operate is a commitment to civic engagement. Just what we're practicing together today. That's keeping our community involved in all local events, and of course, community leadership. That's a very important portion of that. We are a neutral third party, and we are basically advocating for engaged and informed voters in our community. We see that statement, do you really know who's on your ballot? This event is truly to address the spirit of that. We're so excited that all of you are interested in doing so, and thank you for that. Tonight's events proceedings, they will be held, again, neutral third party, so respect for all individuals that have agreed to participate here. So we've just got a quick code of etiquette that we have to go through. Okay, so to keep us all in our best behavior, no tobacco or alcohol products are permitted in the gym this evening. Please turn your devices to silent mode. Food is not permitted in the gymnasium during the event. We want to keep it nice and clean, and so as with that, when we leave tonight, the school has so graciously devoted this space to us this evening, so just be picking up your own flyers or anything you leave from the bleachers as you leave. Questions have been pre-solicited from the community. So just a little segment on this. We did solicit questions from the community in advance via social media, so on Facebook. We also invited voters to email us at warroadcommunitypartners.org on our website. There was a form there, and then also our warroadcommunitypartners@gmail.com email. So that's really where we're trying to take those channels. We did review each of your questions. Thank you for submitting them. And so now we've incorporated some of those questions into this evening's question set. A lot of the questions we did have to take offline. So if you don't hear your question tonight, please don't be alarmed or feel like we have forgotten about your question entirely. We will be directing those questions to the candidates to address personally. So, other thing to work and keep from, unless Sarah tells you otherwise, and I'll tell you a little bit about Sarah in a little bit. Please refrain from applauding until the event has been concluded. So we just want to make sure that we are keeping things on a certain path throughout this whole time. We want to go so much of your time tonight, so we want to use it to the best of our ability. Finally, this is more for the candidates. They did a great job, but we're asking that we keep campaign banners, signs, literature, things like that outside of the hall for this event. However, out in the open hall, you'll see plenty of campaign signage, I'm sure, and have the opportunity to speak with candidates after the event. So, any questions? All right, diving in further. All right, so introducing our moderator for this evening, and Sarah Gina, I left my phone over there, so Sarah, if you could please rise. This is our event for the evening, and we love to just take a minute and many of you know Sarah as a local community member, but I'd love for you to just do a short segment on yourself.
Sure, welcome. First off, since she gave me the permission to ask for applause, I think Jamie deserves some. And we're going to jam, so it only feels natural to me, but we'll do it as orderly as possible. Thanks for coming, you guys. I'm Sarah Thompson, and I've been in Warroad for about 29 years, which is hard for me to even imagine. I came from a small town in central Minnesota called St. Michael. When I grew up in St. Michael, it was a very small town, and now it's a very large town. So I feel like I went from one small town to the other, and old communities feel like home to me. Some of you may know me from my time at KQ92 Radio, and here's a fun fact about that. My very last day on the air was the day that my son was born, and he's 20 years old. So it's been 20 years since I've been on the radio, and for some of us that feels like, what? How can it be that long? What I currently do is live on Springsteel Island. I work from home remotely for an organization called the Montana Institute. And we work for different states and organizations and communities who are looking to increase health and safety in their communities, their neighborhoods, their schools, and college campuses. And my role is Director of Training and Communications. So it's been an honor for me to be asked to be here tonight to moderate this event. And I want to give a quick shout out and thank you to each of you for being here as well. It's a beautiful night. I mean, have we had a wonderful fall here? And so again, tonight we could be spending doing many things. And you've chosen to invest in your community, to invest in your vote, and find out more about these candidates who have invested their time. And so I also want to give a big shout out to our candidates, those of you who have served and those who are hoping to serve your community in this way. I understand what it's like to run for office, and I know it's not easy, and I know you don't take it lightly. So I understand that this is a very serious decision, and each of you have really important reasons for running. And so we want to encourage you tonight with a spirit of respect, support, engagement, and encouragement. And so thank you all for following that as we support these guys. And also a big shout out to each of your families, because when you run for public office, and your family does too, right? And they support you in many ways. So thank you to all of the family members who are here and who are supporting these guys for their ballot run. So, also, thank you to Warroad Community Partners, right? What a wonderful event. This hasn't been easy to put together, but you've done so beautifully, and it's very well organized. And so I hope that you experience a great time tonight and learn many things, many important things about how you will be voting 1 week from today.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. No, that was great. She takes it away like you wouldn't believe it. No, we are so lucky to have Sarah with us tonight, and again, just a staple in our community and a lot of fun that she joined in with us today. So, just a quick breakdown of the evening, just so you guys know a little bit about how this is going to be structured here. You don't want any surprises at all. So, kicking it off tonight, we're going to have our Roseau County Commissioners. So you will see them listed first on your agenda. So the way that we've broken this down is for 2 candidates. There's 2 candidates that are running for 1 position. We're allotting each candidate 5 minutes to just talk very high level about what's important to them, why they're running, what inspired them to run, and what their key initiatives intend to be. So that's what we're looking to see there. You're going to see that with Roseau County Commissioners. You're also going to see that with the sheriff candidates. I think it's mentioned on your itinerary for the night that Steve Guest is unfortunately not able to attend tonight because of a personal engagement. However, Kelly Gustafson is with us and will be sharing 5 minutes. And Kelly says he's got lots crammed in there. I scared him earlier and told him it was only 3. So it'll be 5 minutes for the sheriff candidates as well. Steve has prepared just a short statement to be shared with all of you as well. From there, we move into a panel style event. We are going to give you a high-level mention of the Uncontested of candidates that are shown on your ballots. Many of them are here tonight, and thank you so much for participating. We'll give a brief shout out to them. Then moving into the Warroad City Council. The way that works with that panel is that we are going to provide a series of questions. We're going to try and fit in as much information as we possibly can, you guys. We know that we're going to be able to fit in 3 questions for each of them, and they have 2 minutes to respond to each question. Once they're finished with those questions and answering each of those, we'll give them 30 seconds for a closure. So that's for the City Council, and then the same structure will apply to the school board. After that, you'll just do a quick breakdown. We're going to give you a high-level look at what to expect to see for your state and federal candidates. And then we'll end the evening just talking a little bit about Warroad community partners. So thanks for hanging in with us. Again, we're so sincerely happy that you're here. And Sarah, I think we can go ahead and kick it off with the commissioners. You guys ready? Ready? Count your water? Good.
I think they're ready to go. So each of you will have 5 minutes to just tell us a little bit about who you are, why you like to run, what inspires you to run, and some of the information that you're standing on and would like your voters to be aware of. So why don't we go ahead and start with Glenda. Your 5 minutes begins.
Thank you, Sarah, and thank you, Jamie and Warroad Community Partners for sponsoring this wonderful forum. I'm Glenda Philippi, and I'm a candidate for District 1 County Commissioner. I was born here, actually 4th generation, and raised on a family farm south of Warroad. I was elected County Commissioner in 2010, and I served for 8 years. If I were not here speaking to you, I would be out there listening, because I want to be as informed as you are with the decisions I make when I vote. Just like you, I want to preserve the quality of life that we enjoy in Roseau County. The experience I bring to this position as a county commissioner is quite varied. Besides serving 8 years as a commissioner, I also served on 3 commissions for Warroad: Airport, Park Board, and Public Safety. August 2006, you all remember it if you lived here, Warroad was hit by a tornado. I was chairman of the Park Board at that time. Everything at the point was destroyed. The Park Board, all volunteers, each took one project and brought the point back to life. We worked as a team. In 2014, sounds like these are all disasters, we had a flood. I was chairman of the county board, and we didn't have an emergency manager. If you were the chairman, you were the emergency manager. So I took over that position, and I worked with Kathy Lovelace, Wade Steinbrennan, and Ron Kleinschmidt to fight the flood. And it was an outstanding team. But perhaps one of the most rewarding committees on which I was asked to serve was the Allison Park Committee. We served on that project from conception to completion. It is an outstanding park. I also serve on the Warroad Backpack Food Program. We launched the program in 2016, and we are currently sending food home with over 100 children every weekend. Here's another great team: Heidi Sham, Tracy Piper, Rita Comstock, Carrie Rockway, and Michelle Nash. Couldn't do it without them. I am currently acting president of the Warroad American Legion Auxiliary. We are the group with the poppies on Memorial Day. We support our veterans and our community with donations and service. County commissioners attend several meetings each month, not just board meetings. Besides all of the regularly scheduled meetings, I served on 15 committees that had an impact in our county. I attended the Warroad City Council meetings and meetings for Lake Township. Attendance is very important. The commissioner is there to help. My priorities as commissioner are to make common sense decisions for Roseau County. I have been and always will be responsible with taxpayers' dollars. I am only a phone call away from offering help any time of day, and I answer my phone. I visited with Barb Hendrickson last month, and she reminded me of the call I got from Old County Road 11, which you couldn't go 5 inches without falling in a pothole. Within a week, that road had class 5 gravel on it and an overlayment of granite, and it's still a good road today, and that's called taking a call. Certainly, you have noticed all the activity in Warroad. Very exciting projects with Warroad community development. From Government Island to the trail to Beltrami to the marina to beautification of the city. I will make certain that I'm an advocate for all of those projects, and I will develop a solid partnership for those projects with the county. An issue that needs to be addressed in rural Roseau County are EMS signs. After visiting over 800 homes in the last month, I found that the greatest majority of houses don't have numbers on their mailboxes or on their houses. We need EMS signs. Those are the signs with your house number that are placed close by your driveway. That number helps our EMS personnel find your home. The signs help save lives and property. We need them. Overall, Roseau County is a very healthy county. We are very, time's up. I'd like to say
15 seconds to wrap up your
healthy county. As commissioner, I will make decisions that will continue to make Roseau County a great place to live. I thank you for your support on November 8th.
Thank you, Glenda. Shane, please offer us your experience, your priorities, and planned initiatives. Your 5 minutes, Stephen Town.
All right. My name is Shane Horner. A little bit about myself. Born and raised here in Warroad. My wife Chelsea and I have 2 young children. Our 2-year-old daughter Lenora and a 6-month-old son Elfie. I work here at Martin's in town. I've been there for the last 8 years. A little bit about why I'm interested in this position. Some of you may or may not know, for the last 4 years, my dad has actually held the position. He and I were very close and spoke often, so of course the issues of the county would come up. And after some time, I found myself getting more and more interested in calling him just to find out what had been going on with something we were talking about or how a meeting had gone. And then it kind of got to the point where, I started having opinions of how things should go and probably kind of driving him crazy, arguing with him about subjects. And it was around that time that it kind of dawned on me that this might be something that I'd like to do someday. Only issue is that I'm a little bit more reserved than my dad, and I wasn't so sure I'd want to put myself out there like that. But I figured he would serve another term or 2, so that worst case scenario, I had 4 years to get over that. Well, he ended up passing away in June, so instead of 4 years, I had 5 days to kind of make a decision. And at first, I wasn't thinking I was up to it, it felt too soon and the timing was wrong. But the more I thought about it, I knew I'd be kicking myself if I let myself off the hook just because I was uncomfortable with it. And then, like I said, I have young kids now, and I hope someday when they grow up and start their families that they see this community as a good place that they want to raise their kids, and I have the opportunity to watch my grandkids grow up. So it felt important, to get involved in the community, and this seemed like a good opportunity. Years ago, I was selling insurance, and I quickly learned that I am not a salesman. So when it came time to campaign, I've had bad flashbacks to that same feeling. I'm more of a show you what I can do than tell you, which probably doesn't serve me very well here, but that's who I am. So I'm supposed to talk about my planned initiatives, but I don't really have any. I don't have an agenda going into this other than just to start the community, to get on the ground and start developing myself, and so people know when they reach out to me that I'm going to listen, I'm going to hear their problem, and then get to work finding a solution for them. And then to just be an asset to these groups that are working to grow this community right now, your Warroad Community Development, Warroad partners, city council, the township board, just to be an asset to these groups. And so I guess I'll say, if I am given this opportunity, you can know that I'll work tirelessly to make sure that this side of the county's voice is being heard and the people of this district are being well cared for. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Shane. Thank you, Glenda, for your time. And we'll move into our transition to the county sheriff. Kelly, I invite you to take the stage, and we will have a written statement read by Jamie on behalf of Steve Gust.
We'll give Kelly a chance to settle in here. So Steve Gust did message me this morning with just a short statement that he wanted to share with you. Unfortunately, he wanted to be here, but was unable to. So I will do my best to read this as a proxy for him. But of course, he has encouraged all of you to reach out to him with any questions that you might have. Sheriff Gust sends his regards, being he cannot be here today, but please reach out to him with any comments or concerns. His office and phone number are 218-242-4820 and are always available to you. Sheriff Gust is running for re-election. This will be his 12th year as Roseau County Sheriff and going on 20 years with Roseau County. In law enforcement, he believes officers should hold themselves to a higher standard and be a good example. We work directly for the public and should treat them with the utmost respect. Steve feels even good people can make mistakes. That doesn't always define who they are, and should also be treated with that same respect. None of us are perfect, we can always do better. Steve believes law-abiding, competent citizens should have the right to purchase and bear arms. Roseau County has very qualified people on the road and behind the scenes. Together, we all make a great team. We work hard in keeping drugs out of Roseau County, keeping crime down, and protecting our citizens and visitors to Roseau County. Steve works hard at keeping our budget to a minimum as we are funded by the taxpayers of Roseau County. He utilizes grants and donations to their fullest potential to save on our budget and keep taxes down. Law enforcement isn't always about writing tickets or making arrests. Sometimes we are just the liaison between individuals and can help them come to agreements without having to go through the court systems. Sometimes it's just listening to their problems and guiding them in the right direction. We are lucky to live in a community that supports its law enforcement. Sheriff Gust believes the buck stops at the sheriff's desk and holds himself and the staff accountable. Steve is open and available to the public and his staff, anytime, day or night. Sheriff Gust wants to thank you for your support throughout the years and looks forward to many more. Did I make it under 5 minutes? Am I good, Stacy? Okay, we're good.
Well under. You don't need the stop sign. Thank you for reading the statement from Steve Gust. Kelly Gustafson, we welcome you to the stage. Thank you for joining us tonight. You will have 5 minutes to share with us your experience, your priorities, and current initiatives. So Kelly, your 5 minutes begins now.
So, there we go. My name is Kelly Gustafson, and I'm running for the County Office of Sheriff here in Roseau County. Some of my experiences, I'm the current deputy sheriff within Roseau County. I've been doing that for 15 some years. I've got 20 years plus in law enforcement, which consists of my deputy sheriff job. I work part-time for Roseau PD currently. I used to and have worked in the past for Warroad Police Department as a police officer. I've done jailing, I have done dispatching. So I've come from a pretty diverse background in law enforcement, so I kind of know what's going on. I'm currently an FTO, a field training officer for not all, but some of the incoming officers. So I train them for 6, 7, 8, 10 weeks and give them guidance on how to do the job correctly and turn them loose to a while and see what happens. I'm also the SWAT team leader. That's our team leader for Lake of Woods in Roseau County. I do that quite well. I got 8 guys under me where we take care of serious situations that we need to address that normal law enforcement cops don't have the experience or the equipment or they don't want to take care of stuff. I've done help with protests like over in the River, Humboldt County, Beltrami County, Clearwater County. I've assisted in that, so I got to know how to do that stuff. I've also assisted in dignitary protection when President Trump came to Bemidji. I was part of that. We had our own area of operation where we took care of it, we did our stuff. So I kind of know how to run that stuff if there comes arises over here. I own and operate a family cattle farm currently. It's a lot of work doing that, so I'm not scared of putting 20-hour work days if I have to, and I've not. So my priorities, I'm an end user. I know what works, I know what doesn't work. As Glenda said about these 911 signs, these EMS signs, I'm a huge supporter of that. I've been to places where I couldn't find it. There's a cluster of houses, and I had to go look in the garage windows and rent license plates to see if I'm at the right place or not, okay? Those things, in my opinion, will save lives. So I'll push that. That's something that I want to see within the county, those 911 signs. Another thing I would like to do is have 2 deputies on at all times. Right now, sometimes we're staffed with 1. And I'll give you a hypothetical. If I get dispatched with domestic, 10 minutes later, another one comes out 20 minutes down the road. Okay, well, when I get dispatched, it's physical in nature, so that's my priority. The other one's verbal. Now, the other one called in again, it's starting to get physical. I'm still over here, there's nobody available for this person. Now, a third 911 call comes in and says, hey, this is now got physical. What if that's your daughter? What if that's your wife? What if that's your cousin? I'm still tied up with this physical domestic, and this one not just a physical. You're on your own. I can't make a decision, so I'm here. I'll get there as soon as I can. That actually has happened. That's something I want to stop. I want to provide up-to-date, hands-on, real-world training for officers. Not more hands-on training, because sometimes you can watch something and you may remember, you can told something, you may remember, but if you're actively doing something, you won't remember how to do it. That's the training I want. And currently, it's a lot of computer training. I'm good with training because I'm the SWAT team leader for SOT, so I push a lot of our SWAT team guys do training, but that's just for the specialized team. I wish we always do that. We just did hostage rescue training on a school bus. That was just for the SWAT team. I think everybody should do that. Every law enforcement officer needs to know how to do that. That's important in my eyes. I want to standardize background checks, standardize hiring new officers. That needs to be standardized. It can't be, okay, we like this guy, I'm gonna hire this one, or no, we don't like this guy, I'm gonna hire this one. There's got to be a set structure on how to do that. I know State Patrol does an outstanding job with backgrounds. Maybe something we should don't. That's something that I want to look into and fix. I want to fix some of the inter-office morale. A happy office is a happy office, happy work, and employees feel valued.
You have 15 seconds to wrap up your statement.
So in closing, I'd like to inform everybody that I have probably 90% of the overwhelming majority of law enforcement officers in this county, state, local, federal, behind me, pushing me to do this. I have the retired Sheriff from Manson endorsing me to do this. I even have some of the present and or past county attorneys backing me to do this.
Thank you, Kelly. If you have further questions for Kelly, it's my understanding that he will also be located in the cafeteria area, just like our commissioner candidates after the session for kind of an open house forum. So we invite you to ask those questions as you need to. Thank you for your time, Kelly. And with that, we will go through the uncontested county office candidates that we have. We're just going to quickly read through them. You can see them on the screen. Bob Marvin is running for the city of Warroad mayor. Bob is here tonight. Christy Chose is running uncontested for Roseau County attorney. Donna Dixon for judge, 9th Judicial District. And Jan Miller for District 4 supervisor, Roseau County Soil and Water Conservation. and John Cockeroo, District 4 Supervisor, Roseau County Soil and Water Conservation. You will see those uncontested candidates on your ballot as well. With that, I would like to invite the City Council candidates to please come onto the stage. Brenda is doing a great job of giving you your placement. So Tom Goldsmith is closest to the stairs, followed by Kevin Thompson, followed by Andrew Pegstead, and I'm anxiously anticipating who's next, Joe Olafson. Thank you, gentlemen, and welcome. As I said earlier, I work as training and communications director, and oftentimes we are timed as well, just like you will be for your responses. And sometimes I like to continue talking, and I have somebody staged in the back saying, land the plane. So if you see us go this, that's what that means, land the plane, gentlemen. Okay, so here's how this is going to roll. This is a panel-style discussion. You will each have 2 minutes to respond to the same question. There will be 30 seconds at the end of this session for each of you to offer any other information that you weren't able to share during your question answers. So, with that, we are going to get started with the first question, which is, Joe, we will start with you. In 2 minutes, so you have 2 minutes for this, please tell us about yourself and your skills or experience that best qualifies you for a city council position.
Good evening, Joe Olafson, and I spent my career in public service. And since I retired from the State Patrol, I've been involved on the Warroad Watershed District as a manager. And Watershed works a lot hand in hand with the city. Also, I currently serve on the Warroad Public Safety Commission and the Warroad Utilities Commission. And I was privileged to be a founding member of the skate path in Warroad, along with my son Jared and Travis and Craig Kennedy, and let's not forget his daughter, Tori, that was instrumental in it. And from the skate path, we moved on and kind of inspired the Government Island project, which is ongoing right now. Kind of got that launched. And if elected to the Warroad City Council, I would be, the buzzword nowadays is the diversity. I would be the diverse candidate because I would be the member that doesn't draw or isn't employed by the same employer as everyone else. I have time to listen to your concerns. I'm always available. I will answer your calls, your emails. Well, I should back that up. I'm not much of an emailer, but maybe I'll learn. Text, I can do that. I'll be a responsible voice for everyone. And you may not be able to tell just by looking, but I am a senior citizen. And I will listen to the senior segment of the Warroad community.
Right on time. Thank you, Joe. We're going to have you pass that microphone all the way down to Tom. Tom? Yeah, we mix things up around here. You can handle it. Same question. In 2 minutes, please tell us about yourself and your skills or experience that best qualifies you for the city council position.
Thank you. I'm Tom Goldsmith. I've been in Warroad for 35 years. Moved into town and live in the city, moved in 2015. I was on the fire department for about 17 years, most of that as fire chief and assistant chief. When we moved into town, one of the things I wanted to do was get active in the community. And so I chose to run for city council, so this is the end of my first term. In that amount of time, I've had the opportunity to be on the planning commission, the port authority, and the while the planning and zoning, the Port Authority. There's one other one, now I can't think of it. Also a board member representing the city on the Warroad Community Development. One of the things that I bring, I'm a director of sales and marketing for Infinity from Marvin, and my career has been building businesses, operating businesses, being successful with that. And looking at the city and the departments that we have serving our residents, that's how the city gets managed. There's income, there's expenses, there's projects to do, there's growing the city, and that's what I enjoy doing on the city council.
Thank you. Kevin, you are next. Same question. Please tell us about yourself, your skills or experiences that best qualify you for a city council position.
All right, my name is Kevin Thompson, and I've been a resident of the city of Warroad for the past 32 years. My wife Lori and I have 3 children and 6 awesome grandsons that we enjoy a lot. Community involvement is really important to our family. My wife currently serves on the Warroad School Board, and I'm a current member of the City Council. I work for Marvin Windows for the past 35 years, currently as a project manager in the customer services group. So I worked on a lot of projects. I have a lot of project work on teams. I've served on the council now for a number of years. Interesting story, ask me about it sometime. The first time I was elected was a write-in candidate. So as you're working with the council, you're also asked to serve on a number of commissions and boards, which I do. I'm currently on the Utility Commission, the Planning and Zoning, the Public Safety Commission, and the Joint Rec, which is a collaboration between the city and the school. So you work with the council, you work on these different boards and commissions. I also then get pulled into a lot of city initiatives. So I worked with the Housing Initiative, the Warroad Wellness Team, the Point Redevelopment Project, the West Warroad Expansion Project, the Highway 11 Project, the new liquor store project. You get involved in a lot of things if you want to. And so I feel like I'm available, I'm engaged, I'm involved in what's going on, and I try to learn new things and always keep on top. So I appreciate your attention tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Andrew, you are the final to answer the question. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your skills or experience that best qualifies you for the city council position.
Hello everyone, I'm Andy Hickson, 34 years old, born and raised in Warroad. Graduated from WHS in 2007. After high school, I attended college at Alexandria Technical, where I obtained a degree in machining. Moved to Detroit Lakes, I met my wife Amanda. While in DL, I worked at a stamping company, held various roles there, including managing timelines, basically the completion of tools, very highly competitive market. In 2015, my wife and I decided it was time to move home. DL was getting a little hot hand. So we moved home, started working at Polaris in the tool shop. Worked there for 3 years. In 2018, a friend of mine convinced me to move to Customs, where I've been working. I worked at Emma, and now I'm in Warroad as a part here. There I'm an officer and the union steward. So as a union steward, I act as kind of a liaison between the officers and the management team. As I said, my wife is Amanda Hickson. She's a small business owner. She works at a lure salon. We have 3 children, Braden, 13, he's an 8th grader. Ava's 9, and she's in 4th grade, and my youngest is Sven, who is 6 and in his last year of preschool. All 3 are very active and keep us busy with various activities. Some of my hobbies are hunting, fishing, golf. I also like to keep busy with the community input time in the Riverbend Skate Path helping plow. Been a volunteer youth hockey coach for about the past 10 years. This year I'm coaching my daughter's 10U team, which is a bit strange because I've been coaching boys hockey the entire time. And then last fall, being given the privilege of joining the Warroad Fire Department.
Excellent, thank you. You guys are so good at your 2 minutes. We're gonna try it again, going for round 2. This time we'll begin with Tom. Here's your second question. What do you think is the most important role that the city council members play?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, and I thought about it, it's the airport commission. I should have known that because I'm a pilot too. We just don't meet very often. The city is a business. It has departments, and it's important to be able to cover your costs and invest in the future and make decisions for that with each of the departments in the city. It's a big task, budgets are tight, but we've been able to do it, and I think a lot of that comes from listening to our residents and what they're looking for, whether it's more services, street repairs, street replacements. We need to keep the lights on, so investing in the infrastructure to do that, so people have their gas and electricity and water and so forth. Keeping that infrastructure solid. And I think it's important for the council to look ahead and look into the future and plan for that. Not just what's happening today and supporting that infrastructure, but investing in the future. And the future is people, our residents. It's people knowing about Warroad, it's people coming to Warroad, and that helps build businesses, which helps grow our community. And the council's in a great position to support that growth in our community.
Thank you, Tom. Kevin, same question. What do you think is the most important role that the city council members play?
That's a tough one, but I really think that the chief purpose of the council is to serve the public. And you elect members to the council, and I think that you should expect that what we will do is do what's in the best interest of the city and you as individual residents, right? Not looking so much to what outside influences are going to tell us. So the council, I've been doing this a while, and we have so many things that we get hit with constantly. But I think that you should expect that your council members will do 3 things basically. Number 1, listen and then make decisions that are in the best interest of the residents of the city of Warroad. Number 2, which is hard for me sometimes, but make sure that we look through at issues and opportunities with a neutral lens, right? Not bringing up my personal biases and my preconceived ideas, because sometimes that slows you down. And so, a great experience that I had this past year was one of the challenges we had earlier, and Tom will remember this, was the Icon apartment building project. I gotta tell you, we had to make some quick decisions, we were forced to, and I was really uncomfortable with what we were being asked. So we had to do a lot of research in a hurry. Community research, talking with our taxing authorities, and I think I learned a lot through that, and I think it helped us make a good decision. So, and then the third thing is passing an annual budget that really balances between what the city services need to be versus what are available revenues and our ability to pay. The concern is always trying to maintain that balance, right? People want a lot of things. I want a lot of things for our community. And so I think that we're expected to be problem solvers and be responsive and to be fair and hardworking, and I feel like I do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Andy, same question. What do you think is the most important role that city council members play?
I think revitalizing Warroad while managing the growth of the city. Warroad is growing right now. It's going to continue to grow. We have people moving in all the time. I think that's very important. Making it a destination worth the drive, and we're very tourist driven. Tourism is probably, assuming I remember, without being privy to have, but our biggest business is tourism. And we need to keep that small town feel. Everybody moves here because of, like you alluded to, sir, it's a small town, it's a great community to live in. fiscally responsible with taxpayer money. Listening to what you guys want, need, you know, road repair, if that's something you guys need, that's what we gotta do. That's
Thank you, Andy. Go ahead and hand the microphone to Joe, and you are wrapping up this question too. What do you think is the most important role that city council members play?
Well, budgeting, of course, and staying within the budget, but we represent the citizens and the visitors, the users of Warroad. We have to do that in a responsible manner. And infrastructure is huge. We've got some aging in infrastructure, streets, sewers, so forth, that need repaired. How do we do that with the funds that are available? Funding mechanisms. Also, to provide the services that can be responsible to the taxpayers. A huge one for me, being I come from the public safety realm, would be public safety. As the city grows, how do we grow those services? Police, fire, ambulance needs to be addressed. And being accountable and a leader in the community, being able to liaison from the city government to the community is another aspect that we have to be open to concerns, suggestions, and be fair in how our resources are allocated to the whole city. And of course, with the growth comes some pain, but we're becoming more of a destination year-round community, and we need to look at that and how differentiating between an experienced business and a foundation business, and making our business climate available or accessible to everyone.
Right on time. Thank you, Joe. Thank you each for your heartfelt answers to that question. We're going to move to what will likely be our final question, and it is question 3. So you talked about the importance you see in the role. Now let's talk about what you see as the biggest challenge, as well as the most strategic opportunity facing the city council. We'll begin with you, Kevin. Don't start this time yet, just get the microphone. I'm going to reread the question. What do you see as the biggest challenge, as well as the most strategic opportunity facing the city council? Your time starts.
All right, well, we have a lot of challenges and opportunities, and I think for us, it's just continuing those programs and opportunities that have started over the past 3 or 4 years with Warroad Community Development and the partners. There's just a lot of things going on, and trying to figure out how do we keep the city moving forward, how do we build, and then how do we pay for these things? That's always the challenge, right? So there's a lot of challenges in front of us. I'll focus on 3 things. It's not one, but it's 3 things, right? So I think the city expansion to the west is a huge thing for us. It's going to be costly, but it's a strategic move that we need to make in the city. I think secondly, maintaining a level of quality and competitiveness in our public safety departments, the fire, the ambulance, and the police department. Those are so important to the community, and it's in the news constantly, and I think those are things that we have to address. And then finally, collaborating with the housing partners on the housing initiative. That kind of goes along with our initiative to the expansion. There are other things that we could talk about, like quality of life projects, the Highway 11 redesign, the liquor store project, they're big things and they're costly, but we're trying to figure them out. And we have to do this while remaining fiscally responsible. It's hard to do because costs are exploding, and so it's a real challenge. And I have to constantly remind myself that we're all taxpayers and that there's a tax ramifications to the decisions that we make. And thank you.
We'll have you pass it to Andy. Next, the same question to you. What do you see as the biggest challenge, as well as the most strategic opportunity facing the city council?
I believe the biggest challenge, like I said, is the growth of the city, but it's also an opportunity to grow the city. With that, we need to maintain the existing infrastructure, keep it, upkeep the existing infrastructure, while putting money into new infrastructure. Obviously, there's lots of new areas of town coming up. And I just think it's a huge opportunity for the city, to continue to get people to come in, and keep coming here.
Thank you, Andrew. Go ahead, Joe, same question. What do you see as the biggest challenge, as well as the most strategic opportunity facing?
Well, I have to agree that the challenges are many. But I guess I would start with the infrastructure, the streets, the sewer, water, utilities. Some need upgrade, and as mentioned, expansion to the west for residential will take a huge amount of planning, and funding sources have to be explored for that. I'm not a real big tax guy, so if we can explore other avenues without raising mill rates and so forth and so on. And of course, again, public safety needs to grow, but our opportunities are probably outweigh our challenges, to be honest with you. We can take advantage of our location. We've got Lake of the Woods. We've got the harbor out here that is also on the radar of the watershed district for improvement. Make it deeper again. And we've got tremendous people. We've got community partners, community development. We've got this beautiful school. That all of that are opportunities for, as we grow as a community, it provides opportunities that, to be frank, most of our surrounding communities do not have those opportunities. So we need to take advantage of them and get more partners involved in city government, and let the city council represent you, but you also need to interact with the city council to direct our future.
Thank you, Joe. Go ahead and pass that mic down to Tom. Tom, you are the final answerer of this question. What do you see as the biggest challenge, as well as the most strategic opportunity facing the city council?
So for challenges, one of the ones I was thinking of is how do you balance individual needs with the greater good of the residents in Warroad? And that comes up, I learned that from the planning commission and sometimes on the city council, that there's people that are passionate about one thing, but we have to look at it as a greater good for the community, and is it something that contributes? So that's a challenge that comes up quite often. Budgeting is another one, and there's a couple of things that tie into that. And we don't want to raise taxes, or we don't want to impose a lot of tax on the residents, but there's infrastructure that needs to be taken care of. There's investments into the future with all the programs and the development groups that are going on. The city is a contributor to that, because the city will benefit from the results. But one thing to note, our infrastructure, we don't assess when streets go in or sewer goes in around somebody's in front of the property. The whole community chips in and contributes to that. So that's part of our costs in our budget. Opportunities, the expansion of more residential lots to the west is huge. We're running out. We don't have any left in the city, and we need to expand and prepare for more residents. I believe in revenue generation. The park and the liquor store are revenue generators. That's income that the city gets outside of the tax base. I think there's more opportunities for that, and we can continue to develop on running good businesses that contribute to the funds of the city. And we're all focused on the Warroad community development, and Warroad community partners. It's tourism, it's small business, it's how we grow the city and make it vibrant by having people know about us and supporting those small businesses locally.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you each for joining us for these really important questions that you were each able to answer. We'll have you go ahead and pass the microphone down to Andy. You will begin. Each of you will have 30 seconds for some closing remarks. So please fill us in on all things left in that you wish to tell us.
I'm not going to claim to know really what the inner workings of the city council. I am a young family, part of a young family in Warroad. I can be a very great student, so I will learn quickly. So given the opportunity, I will not let you down.
Thank you. Go ahead and pass the microphone to Joe for closing remarks.
I'll just say thank you to the participants tonight, and especially thank you for all of you that are part of this representative government that we have. And without you people, it wouldn't work. Thank you.
And the microphone goes to Tom for your closing remarks.
Thank you. It's been a great 4 years. I think our city has great leadership with the mayor and our city administrator and the council supporting that. It's been a pleasure to be part of it for 4 years and look forward to the next 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Kevin, closing remarks.
Boy, it's been an exciting time to be a part of what's going on in Warroad right now. And I don't know if you know this, but there were 6 groundbreaking celebrations this year for different projects, which is huge. So I really feel like it's a phenomenal growth, that it's been a blessing and a challenge at times. And I feel like I'm in the right place at the right time to make a difference. And I thank you for your time and your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. I feel like we should give an applause to them, right? A beat of honor extended to the sheriff candidate as well as the county commissioner. We have a minute transition here. I invite you all to stand up if you need to. Put your left arm in and your left arm out, your left arm in and shake it out now.
And sir, I'm gonna jump in just for 2 seconds here while you guys are doing your yoga stretches. So we actually had 5 questions for the candidates tonight, and we knew that time was gonna be extremely valuable your time. So just so you can see on question 4, when making decisions, how do you determine what's in the best interest of the city? And then the next one we were going to ask them here was, on a scale of 1 to 10, how knowledgeable do you feel you are of the current initiatives of the city and community today? And how will you work to get and stay informed to ensure the completion and sustainability of current initiatives and the return on investments are made? That was a mouthful. So we didn't have a chance to address these ones, but these were ones that were submitted by individuals. So just letting you know, our candidates are going to be here for an open house following this event, and can certainly answer those questions. And we'll be sure to follow up with each of them and just make sure we get a formal response published on the Warroad Community Partners Facebook page for you. So continue stretching, and we'll do a quick transition over to the school board in just a moment.
We'll welcome the school board members to the stage. Starting on the far right, it's Brenda Soler, then Amy Mayfield, Blake Nelson, Gus Booth, and Damian McMillan. Wow, you guys settled down pretty good. Nicely done, audience. Okay. We welcome the ISD 690 school board candidates. We are going to be offering you probably about 3 or 4 questions. Each of you will have 2 minutes to respond. You each will be answering the same question, and it will roll just like the city council candidates did. This is a panel-style discussion, and you'll each have 30 seconds at the end of the session to go ahead and offer your closing remarks. And so, we will begin with Amy. Here's question 1. Amy, please tell us a little bit about your background and why you decided to run for the school board.
Thank you. My name is Amy Mayfield, and after hearing most of the candidates today, I can probably assure you I have lived in Warroad less time than most candidates you're going to hear from tonight. My husband and I have been married for 17 years, and 2.5 years ago, we made the trek to Warroad. We have 2 children, both are school-aged and in the Warroad School District. I have a 7th grader and a 9th grader. I'm originally from central Indiana and have lived kind of all over the Midwest. Thank you to some manufacturing opportunities and different employment that we've had. And what really led me to consider running were a few people that are here tonight that kind of poked me and prodded me into considering running for school board. So I feel that my skills in leadership, I have been both a direct line supervisor, been in lots of management positions, been a project manager, but the longest length of my career has been in human resources. And so I feel that those skills in leadership and things of that nature can really help in this position.
Thank you. You can go ahead and pass the microphone to Brenda. Brenda, you'll have 2 minutes. Please tell us just a little bit about yourself and why you decided to run for the school board.
Hi, I'm Brenda Solar. I've been married for 39 plus years to my super handsome husband, and we've been pastoring New Life Assembly of God in this community for 19 years. We have 2 adult children, and they're married and they have kids. We have 8 grandchildren, and our oldest is in his first year of college, and the youngest just turned 3. So we have a nice variety there. I'm very interested in running because of the grandchildren. I was very involved at the school. Our boys graduated from Lake of the Woods, and now my grandchildren are in school, and I feel like I have maybe a good 4 years left in me, so I could probably try it out. I have a bachelor's degree and a minor. I have been in a lot of public forums in the past. I've worked with domestic violence, I've worked with drug addiction, and I've also been at our local North Regency Pregnancy Center. I've been involved with that as a volunteer in the past. I'm a senior materials science technician in research and development at Martha's. I've been in that position since 2008. I've tutored students here in Warroad, and one of my things way back when the kids were in elementary school, I did tutoring there. I worked with the band program and a Title I program. I helped out on a volunteer basis. And in Lake of the Woods, I started the pilot program for state exams for math and reading under Connie Weigel, and we had over a 90% success rate. We do foster care, or did in our past, for several children. We've lost count, and we've had 7 foreign exchange students. And so we've been youth pastors for 8 years also in Lake of the Woods. So we're very involved with students and children. And one thing I did 15 seconds to wrap up your statement. I'm just looking forward to and feel like it's a big privilege to be responsible for this wonderful district. And I do take that seriously as a school board member. Thank you for that opportunity.
Thank you, Brenda. We'll pass the microphone down to Damien. Damien, same question. Tell us a little bit about your background and why you decided to run for the school board.
Sure, I promise I'll do my best to land the plane before you
Thank you.
tell me. David McNelton was born and raised here in Warroad, 2002 graduate. Currently have 3 kids in school here. 4th one that's waiting to, can't hardly contain herself, but to start preschool. Been currently on the fire department since 2002, since I graduated. I've been your fire chief for the last 3 years, hopefully 4, John and I running for re-election again tomorrow. I think the big thing for the school board is you have to be able to find a way to work not just with faculty, with the students, try to find that real fine line on expenditures. And, you know, so I can't always have everything you want. You know, there's going to be some disagreements, but hopefully you can really find your way down that line and you can get the right results that you need to get the school district to keep moving forward. Again, appreciate everybody being here tonight, appreciate the time, and appreciate the opportunity.
All right, Gus, same question. Tell us a little bit about your background and why you decided to run for the school board.
Hello, Gus Booth, born in southern Minnesota, raised in California, graduated from high school in Ohio, came to a faith in Jesus in Japan, graduated college at Bemidji State, then moved to Warroad a couple of years later to pastor a tiny group of people that happen to own a building. I used to tease them all the time. I'm like, you guys are a Bible study that now own a building. And so we have grown since then to, I don't know, about 350 or so people from 14. I moved here single and fell in love with a local girl, and I'm appreciating that you guys are all here on our date. This is our 19th wedding anniversary today, so it's pretty romantic, I know, maybe. But so 4 kids, 1 grandkid, and he's super awesome. The reason I am running is couple-fold. Is I want to make sure that the school district make sure to have kids know how to think and not what to think. I've seen all of these angry parents chastising school boards all over the nation because of critical race theory and the over-sexualization of their children and gender identity and those kind of things. And I just think, you know, I don't want that stuff to go on in the community in which I live. And so I want to be a little bit of a hockey goalie to try to keep that stuff out. So those are big issues, and that's why I'm running.
Thank you, Gus. Blake, same question. We'll round out question 1. Tell us a bit about your background, why you decided to run for the school board.
Awesome, thanks, Sarah. Blake Nelson, born and raised here in Warroad. I am probably the youngest person up here. I might not look like it, I got a lot of gray hair. Started working full-time when I was in college. I graduated high school from Warroad High School in 2014. Feels like forever ago because if I add up my experience working full-time, managing people and teams, I'm almost coming up on a decade. So that's been a pretty incredible ride. While attending the University of North Dakota, I managed a group and sat on the board for our Sports Business Student Association. We kind of capped it off there as the president of that group for a little over a year. And that's kind of where I first got involved a little bit in the politic world. Kind of dipped my toes in a little bit and started to pique my interest. Moving back here to Warroad, I think it was 3 years ago. I had way too much fun. I feel like yesterday. But moved back to Warroad about 3 years ago after graduating college and lived in the cities for a year and really wanted to become that person in the community that could partner with people. I'm a really big relationship person. I think a lot of people here, if you do know me, you already know that. I get that from my grandparents and my grandpa specifically. My grandpa had a business here in Warroad, Christian Brothers, and everything stemmed off of relationships. And for me, the reason I wanted to run for school board is I'm going to be that partner for the students, for the teachers, and for the community. Because if we don't all work together, we can't get anywhere. So that's it for me.
Nicely done. Thank you, panel. We'll move on to the second question, and Brenda, you'll begin. So here's our next question. Brenda, what immediate changes, if any, do you believe must happen in our district, and how will you help enact or lead that change?
I don't know what you mean exactly by immediate. If it's just within the first couple of months, I would like to see a lunch program fund get started for kids who maybe their parents forgot to pay the bill, and here the kids are coming to school and they don't have money for a meal, or whatever other circumstances that could arise where a child maybe is left to not eat. And I know there's backups for that, but maybe just an extra fund. And I would like to see that come first of all from the faith community, and then to let that be other people people to be involved that care about the kids. Maybe some are getting left aside by that. Another thing I would like to do is bring in a group that talks about the dangers of internet and sex trafficking and different dangers that we have right in front of our faces that we don't always know about. And parents are always the last to know, it seems. So we are seeing that in communities around Warroad where this is happening. And in one such case, the parents were told by the law that that person would have been gone within 30 days if the parents hadn't found out. So if we bring people in, and I do know a group, we can get that going next year, possibly as an assembly, a school assembly for our 6 to 12 graders, so that we can do our best to keep them informed. And it also would be for child abuse and sexual abuse or harassment, things like this that are there to protect our kids. Let them know about this stuff to that level.
Thank you, Brenda. You can pass the microphone all the way down to Damien. Same question for you. What immediate changes, if any, do you believe must happen in our district? And how would you help to enact or lead that change?
Yeah, so I think that's kind of a hard question to answer, simply because without having sat on the school board before, there's a lot of information that I think a person would need to have in order to really, say this needs to change or that needs to change. Talking with my kids, days after school, stuff like that, they love being here. They love the school district, they love the teachers, they love the faculty. And I think that the big thing is to keep the board moving forward and to continue on and to make sure that the teachers have what they need, that the school district itself has what they need, that the kids continue to have what they need, so that they can continue on with the learning process and all the great things that we have going on here at Warroad School. I think the other thing too is a gentleman sitting in the crowd that Smart Guy once told me, he said, you make a lot of decisions. Some you're gonna get right, other ones you're gonna fail. But when those decisions are made, you stick with it, you own it, and you try to find a way forward from there. So again, tough question to answer, but I think just moving forward, keeping the board moving forward is the right way to go.
Thank you. Gus, same question. What immediate changes, if any, do you believe must happen in our district, and how will you help to enact or lead the change?
I don't know about immediate changes, but I certainly think a couple changes would be great. And one of them would be, we teach the theory of evolution as a fact, yet it is a theory. And I think it would be fantastic for us to put another competing, quote, theory of intelligent design in that. I think that would be great for our students to know those kind of things. The other is, and don't get too crazy because I'm a preacher, but I think it would be fantastic to teach the Bible as a historical book or a piece of literature. It is an amazing book that has had a lot of influence over governments, and both sides of the political aisle, whether you're Republican or Democrat, quote the Bible, and teaching students why they do that is I think pretty fantastic. There are over 3,500 high schools in America today that teach the Bible as a piece of historical literature, and 93% of the time when school boards are asked to provide this elective course for their students, the school boards say yes. And I think, well, let's do that up here. And so, yeah, intelligent design and teaching. Not the Bible is devotional or worship or anything like that. It's totally constitutional. Thousands of schools do it. But as something that has really impacted, entire countries and generations and people groups. And if we don't teach that kind of stuff with a book that has been that important for all of humanity, I think we do our students a disservice.
Thank you, Gus. And Blake, same question. What immediate changes, if any, do you believe must happen in our district, and how will you help enact or lead that change?
Piggyback a little bit off what Damien said, it's kind of a tough question to answer, just given the fact that I've never sat on a school board, so I have a lot of questions and a lot of things to learn and observe. I think one thing to remember the school, and I want to see the school lead that effort in a way that people want to come to Warroad, not only for the opportunities at Marvin or at other small businesses or for tourism, but they want to come to Warroad for our school. They want to come to Warroad for our teachers, for our programs, for our electives and things like that. So those would be some of the immediate, I wouldn't call them immediate changes, but immediate questions I would ask is, how can we look at doing some of that and bringing some of that to the table, so.
Thank you, Blake, and Amy will round out this particular question. What changes, if any, do you believe must happen in our district, and how will you help enact or lead the change?
All right, I'm gonna agree with everyone. I think the word immediate kind of scares some folks, and it certainly did prompt me a little bit. You know, I'm not sure that the immediate change, and I also have never sat on a school board, but I've been on lots of boards, I've been in lots of leadership positions, and the very first thing, and I like Blake's wording of question, but the very first thing that I'd like to do is establish a clear and focused, a shared focus. What is our focus? What is our vision? We won't accomplish anything as a group if we don't get really focused on what we want to accomplish. And the fact of it is, we have a board of 6 members. We're going to have 3 new members, 50% new membership after November 8th. And to me, the most immediate thing is to establish a clear and shared focus. I'm extremely passionate about our school and the community. And to piggyback off that a little bit, I really think that it's critical that the community be educated, and that's another immediate thing I'd like to do, and will continue to do whether I'm on this board or not, is to educate the community that a thriving school system is where a thriving community is at. And the school to me is the linchpin in this community. And we have a lot of things going on, and City Council was up here, did a great job, and the growth is amazing. But as a new member of this community, I know how important our decision was when we looked at the school. And so I can tell you, I can make hard decisions, because coming here was a hard decision, especially in the middle of a global pandemic. But it's a hard decision to want to sit up here as a new member, and I'm excited for it, but we've got to have clear and dedicated vision on where we're going. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and start with Damien for our third and final question. Okay. What personal objectives or goals do you have should you be elected? This is a 3-part question. 3 parts, sorry. What personal objectives or goals do you have should you be elected? What results matter the most to you? And how will you be accountable for them as a Warroad School Board member?
I think I'm going to start with, as far as like results that matter most. I think you talk about, when you look at grades, you look at scores, testing, you have all those metrics that they use to kind of grade a school, if you will. But I think where it's really at is like it's been touched up here already, is what's the feeling when you walk into school? What's the feeling of the students? What's the feeling of the faculty, the administration? Do they have what they need to do their job? Do they have the ability to do their job? And again, with the school board, there's going to be tough decisions that need to be made, and which I think, and especially with some of the stuff that's come up here as of late, you feel bad for the folks that are maybe on the lower end of some of those decisions, and the folks that have to make those decisions. But again, it's the health of the school, it's the health of the students, the faculty, administration that you really have to look at to keep the district moving forward. As far as the personal objective stuff like that, again, it's been touched. It's a team effort. As far as what I see is personal stuff. It's what's in the best interest of the folks that are within these walls on a daily basis. And throughout the school year, the teachers and they spend more time with the kids than we get to as parents. And really, for them to have what they need to teach our students, teach our children, and keep moving them forward in life is something that's very important to me, and I think probably very important to everybody that sits up here today.
Great, thank you. Gus, 3 questions. What are your personal objectives and goals? What results matter to you the most? And how will you be accountable for them?
you got the board, you got teachers, you got administration, you know, you've got even students, and we're really all trying to work together to educate kids, right? That's what we got to do, and so I think that's important, and that's a personal goal, to be able to cross-pollinate with all of those groups working together. There are 331 school districts in Minnesota, and we at Warroad are ranked almost in the top quarter. We're in the top third. We're ranked 83rd right now, and those rankings are determined by number of students, by graduation rate, by funding per student, student-to-teacher ratio, percent of students scoring above proficient in the standardized math, reading, and language tests. So it's a fairly comprehensive determiner of where we rank. And so 83 out of 331, okay, that's not too bad. But Roseau's ranked 80th. Yeah, we can at least go above that, right? So so clearly we can get a little bit better, but we do pretty decent. And as far as accountability, is that what it was? Accountability? Yeah. That's your job. Like, I'm going to be open and honest, but you hold us accountable. So if you like what I've said tonight, vote me. If you don't vote me. But accountability is us just saying, I'm going to tell you the truth all the time, every time. And if you do go to my church, you know that that's true. Because I'm accountable to him, and I want to be able to not be a manipulative person. So I will tell you the truth, whether or not you want to hear it or not. But really, accountability is your deal. Do it. Hold us accountable.
Thank you, Gus. Blake, same 3 questions. Your personal objectives and goals. What results matter to you the most? And how will you be accountable to them?
So, kind of like I mentioned earlier, I don't necessarily have some advice I got from somebody was, but I don't necessarily have an agenda or an objective off the top of my head. I just want to be able to come in the door and learn. But going back to what I originally said also is that my personality and what I thrive on is relationships at all different levels. And the people that work with me, they see it day in and day out. Pretty much no matter who you are, unless you're my landlord, who also works with me and comes to my office, and sometimes I ignore him because I want to give him a rent check. No, I'm kidding. But I'm always trying to build relationships. I'm always trying to learn kind of what makes people tick, what interests them, what do they want to learn, what can I do to make their day better? Because at the end of the day, we always think we've got to be good stewards and good people, right? So we want to be a good community member, but really kind of build those relationships. Going back to the 3 questions, sorry to kind of got off a little tangent there. How would I hold people accountable? How would I hold the school board accountable? For me, honestly, kind of like what Gus said, you guys hold us accountable. But also, I would look at it a little bit from a human resources background as a retention, right? How long is our faculty staying? Are they coming and going as fast as they're coming in, or are they telling us that, hey, I want to leave because something's bad? So that would be something that I would look at as an accountability metrics, is our faculty. And then also going back to what I said is the families that want to move here because of our school, right? How many new students are we getting and things like that? And then I'm trying to remember if I answered all 3 questions. I think that does wrap it up, so I'll pass the mic.
Sounds good. Thank you, Blake. Amy, same 3. What personal objectives or goals do you have? What results matter to you the most, and how will you be accountable to them?
All right, my personal goal is to spend time understanding the best interests of all students and staff. And my goal is to have a helping hand in making this a benchmark district. I didn't look up the numbers, I don't know where we're at. I know that we're good, but I think we can be better, and I want to have a helping hand in that. When it comes to staying accountable. I'm gonna agree with these gentlemen a little bit. I have on here that the accountability comes from the voters. It truly does. The board is accountable to the community, to the students and the staff. And personal accountability is certainly something we can each take, but it is, in order to be held accountable, I think if you're getting what you want out of your board, communicate that. If you're not, you need to communicate that as well. My HR background also says the metrics that we need to look at for sure are our staff retention and their satisfaction. That is very important. A culture here that is thriving will keep good staff, will keep good talent, will keep families coming and those types of things. But that's very important along with our student achievement. I think every student should be challenged here from the administration, from staff and from the board, holding a little bit of accountability there too. So those are the specific ways I think we should keep accountable, but I definitely think my personal goal truly is to understand the best interests of all students and staff and to get to know them on a personal level. I think it's important to be in the school to do that, and it's also important to be in the community to do that as well.
Thank you, Amy and Brenda. You will wrap up this question for us. Please tell us your personal objectives and goals, what results matter to you the most, and how you will be accountable for them.
Okay, this is our school, these are our children, and this is our future. So we need to look at this with that in light all the time. Every decision, every vote has to be based on our children, our school, our future. So the personal ones are not only your children, but my 4 grandchildren that are in this district. They're very dear to us. As grandparents, we love them, and we want them to be in a safe place. They're coming here every day for several hours. They need to be safe. They need to be taken care of in their education, not their sexualization, not critical race theory. That stuff is to be dealt with in the home. This is a place where education needs to happen, and we need to get back to the foundation of education. So much of the class time can be taken over, and then the fundamental stuff gets left to the side. So we need to be able to help our teachers focus on that education and not get sidetracked with all this other garbage. That really is personal decisions left to the parents and the family and their community of faith. School is for education and development of the child in that area. The results that matter for me are that they are educated and not indoctrinated. I don't want my grandchildren coming home and say, guess what I learned today, Grandma? So-and-so isn't a boy or a girl. I want them to come home and say, hey, I learned my multiplication tables. You know what I learned in history today? We have a wonderful history in our nation, and it's being dropped to the wayside. I want to make sure that stays in here. I want to make sure we still pledge allegiance to the flag. I want to make sure that our children know who they are because they have a good foundation at home. School is a backup. Parents in the home are the #1 educators of our children. School is secondary, but it is very vital.
Thank you, Brenda. Each of you will have 30 seconds for closing remarks, and we'll begin with Gus.
Nearly 22 years in the community as a pastor. I teach a fitness class for community education. I've coached basketball, I've coached baseball. I'm a substitute teacher, and even right now, I feel like I probably know most of you, or at least you know of me. And I want to build a coalition. I want to be able to take some of my ideas and have people be like, you know what, that does make sense. And I think we're gonna give this guy a chance. And so I'm asking for your vote, and I hope you do vote for me. Amen. I just feel like Pastor House don't say amen.
Blake, 30 seconds for closing remarks.
Thank you. Just like to say thanks to all of you guys for coming out here. Thanks to Sarah for moderating. Thanks to our timekeeper for keeping track of time and keeping everybody honest. And thanks for Jamie for all the help. Regardless, if you are willing to give me your vote, I'm going to continue to be a part of the community as a part of the fire department, as a coach for the girls hockey team, Warroad Lions member, running the golf League and all kinds of stuff. So you'll still see me out in the community and doing all kinds of fun things. So look forward to talking to you guys after.
Go ahead, Amy. All right. I too just want to thank Warroad Community Partners, which I am a fond member of. I have actually, it was the first civic engagement that I made was with Warroad Community Partners, so I want to thank my dear friends who put this on tonight. If I wasn't sitting up here, you know I'd be helping you. So thank you to the school and the administration, who I've gotten very close with in the last few weeks, chairing the YES committee. And I just welcome your support and thank everyone in the community who's already spoken to me, and look forward to chatting with you after.
Thank you, Amy. Brenda?
Thank you also for taking time out of your busy schedule and coming out tonight and hearing what we have to say. That means that you're people who care. So I want to thank you for that. I would be honored to join our school board and foster an environment of success by encouraging more partnerships with parents, maintain a high level of transparency, and keep our school focused on its basic responsibility, the education of our community's future. I vow to protect parents' rights, students' education, and our district's ability to function with every single vote I make.
Thank you,
When our
Brenda.
students excel, our community excels.
Got it.
Got it in there. And Damien, 30 seconds, as soon as the mic hits you.
All right, so just thank you to Warroad Community Partners, the school, Sarah Jean, great to see you again. Jamie, thank you. A lot of great candidates up here tonight. A lot of good stuff that's been talked about. A lot of good things going on in our community. And big thing is just get out and vote. Find the folks that you like. Come see us afterwards. Thank you to everybody who's up here for the school district. A lot of good things going on, and we've got a great future.
Thank you all very much. Let's give a round of applause to our school board candidates. And with that, our evening is coming to a close, just about. I'm going to hand it over to Amy.
Pretty close, I gotta be a little longer, guys. So again, a couple of quick questions just included in here. Of course, beyond this question, didn't have time for tonight, but for the school board, please share your position on the Warroad operating levy referendum and why. So this is something certainly visit with them offline. The next one, what specific metrics should the board use to measure success of the district, the administration, the board's leadership? So things to keep in your mind when you always visit with those candidates offline. Just a quick plug here, of course, we do on your ballot, you are going to see that there is an ask for an increase in your taxes. And this is the operating levy referendum for ISD 690. So you will see that directly on your ballot. It is asking for support equating to approximately $460 per student, subject to an annual increase in rate of inflation. This is something that is also an opportunity the state is actually supporting, and the school administration will tell you more about this at their booth. But significant percentage that they are contributing based upon our rate of enrollment and our investment as a community. Tax responsibility is based upon homestead plus 1 acre. And so there is available, again, there's going to be a booth out in the lobby area, but also they can give you information, and there's also a personal letter from Dr. Leeds, our school administrator, to give you more information about that. Trying to fly through this. You guys are hanging in there with me. Great, thank you. It was the stretch, Sarah. That's what did it. Just a brief overview. We do just have a quick slide here on state and federal office candidates. This is just an awareness thing for all of you. We don't have additional comments for those candidates today, but we do have a couple of special guests. Still trying to see who was actually able to make it towards the end of the night, but then I do know that John Burkle is here with us today and has a booth, so please feel free to come and visit him as well. Very happy he's here. So check out that entire open house area and visit with as many candidates as you'd like to get that information. This is what happens when you make a PowerPoint and everything looks great on your desktop that's about 2 feet. You put it on a presentation board in front of a bunch of people and the font gets a lot smaller than you anticipated. So just quick rundown of this. Federal offices, U.S. Representative, we've got Travis Cole Johnson, Michelle Fishbach, and Jill Abbasane. State offices, State Senator, District 1, Mark Johnson, incumbent, and I should mention that on the federal offices as well. Michelle Fishbach is the incumbent for our U.S. representative for District 7. State Representative, District 1A, we've got John Burkle, again, here tonight with us. And then James Seville, who was unable to make it here tonight. Up for governor this year, we've got a lot of different names here. Steve Patterson and Matt Huff, James McCaskill and David Sandbeck, Scott Jensen and Matt Burke, incumbent Tim Walls and Peggy Flanagan, Hugh McTavish and White Winter, and it's Gabrielle Prossier and Devin A. Dwyer. So keep an eye on these ones. The text is very, very fine, but we want to make sure you guys are doing your research on these in advance and understanding all of these candidates. Secretary of State, we do have Kim Crockett, and then incumbent Steve Simon. State Auditor, Will Finn, Tim Davis, Ryan Wilson, and Julie Valaha. And then Attorney General Jim Schultz and Keith Ellison, and Keith is the incumbent there. So a lot of information on a lot of the slides, but just encourage you to kind of research there. Election details. So I did pull it up on my phone, so all of you guys have an idea of kind of the when and where, but of course it's next week already, November 8th. So just looking at our polling locations, I'm kind of curious to see here who poll. Who do we have here from Badger? One, perfect. Perfect. Okay, so you're going to the polls at 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the Badger Community Center, City of Greenbush. This one is Greenbush Community Center, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. City of Roseau. Anybody from Roseau here? All right, the Warroadites are strong in this one. Roseau City Center, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. City of Warroad. Anybody? That really, guys? That many hands? City of Warroad Community Center, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. We're just going to skip over the Greenbush here. Jadis Township, Roseau City Center, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Lake Township, of course, it's going to be Lake Town Hall. They're open 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Leona Township, Leona Town Hall, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Milan Community Center, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Moranville Township, that's the town hall there, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then for the Roseauites, Ross Township, Roseau City Center, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. So expect, find that time in your day. Certainly want to have as much voter participation as possible and have a great turnout this year. So just ending out our evening, I'm going to keep you for 2 more minutes here, but it's just talking about this amazing organization that I get to work with. And the reason that we are here today is because of their willingness to be engaged and inform other voters. So Work Committee Partners actually originated in 2014, and they were originally named Warroad Young Professionals. How many of you in here actually started off with that? Who do we have for the original? Okay, a couple of hands, awesome. And so this really started out with a focus, and it was people that had a passion for a thriving community to live and work in. And so this actually evolved after a couple of years. It evolved to Work Community Partners in 2016. The existing group actually had an amazing workshop that they put together with the Blended Leadership Foundation. Great exercise, great workshop setting, several days, many exercises, and again, it was committed to improving and ensuring the vitality of Warroad for many years to come. We are built on 3 primary pillars here. Civic engagement, right? That's why we're here, and this is one form of that, but just being involved in your community, getting to know your neighbor. The next one is events and activities. I'm going to show you a couple of really cool things that Warroad Community Partners has been up to in the last year. But really just creating a vibrant and fun and thriving community. And then finally, personal and professional development. And this is something that I get really excited about because the members of this group, when you participate, it's a very inclusive group, anybody can join. But the group as a whole takes a special interest in their members, what they're passionate about, what they're good at, what their strengths are, and then takes that and builds something on it, cheers them on, helps them find the resources that they need, and it's really exciting. I think of instances where community or a member had an interest, wanted to help out with community cleanup, and it ended up turning into a thriving business today, and I know that they were passionate about serving their community, ended up turning into an amazing committed to serving others in the community. So that's a perfect example of who we are as Warroad community partners. Here's my plug here. If you are interested in joining, come and find us. So just an events and activities, this is kind of what we've been up to. This is who we are as Warroad community partners. Huge plug here. It's a team of individuals. It's built off of volunteers. Much of this is led by Sarah Malmy, who most of you have had the opportunity to meet, I'm sure, as just an events and coordinating director. So North Horn Days is one of those awesome opportunities for community members to come out. Really, really fun music event, but also partnered with like a community type of birthday party for kids. We try and keep that at low cost for all participants there. Freeloop Fest, this is a new one for us. So if you enjoy the cold, then this is your opportunity. Really celebrating everything up north and who we are, and what it feels like to be northward in the spirit of that. So Woods on the Water is another really fun new one with us. We are of course partnering with the Woods on this one. A Taste of Warroad. This is an awesome date night, you guys. If you're looking for ideas, this is fantastic. Local businesses coming together, having booths, and it's just an amazing sampling of foods from across the community. An awesome boat parade that we were able to put on around July 3rd to celebrate the July 4th events. We have Patriotic Variety Show. Yellow Rose Days was something that, of course, is supported by Marvin, but we partnered with to help with that race and offer volunteer resources. Other things that came out were community partners. Riverband Skate Path has been huge, and that is something that was just recently originated, and that has been it's been a go-to in our community. It's been such an amazing pastime even for my family. So again, built off of volunteers that totally devoted their time to create something special for the community. Light Up the Holidays, this is actually coming up now right after Thanksgiving, right Sarah? Friday night or Saturday. So keep posts out, look out for this. It's an awesome, just a tree lighting event that you guys have come to know, and so many fun festivities surrounding that. And finally, again, just a kind of shout out for our civic engagement piece of it, which is forums just like this. So just things that we are up to. If you are ever interested in joining, certainly just email, reach out to us. It's just warroadcommunitypartners@gmail.com. Otherwise, visit our website. It's just warroadcommunitypartners.org. So final statement here, our vote matters. Your vote matters. Please go and vote. Encourage others to go and vote informed. So November 8th is that date. And then finally, I'm just going to tell you after this, we have cookies and we have coffee to wake you back up again. So there is an open house immediately following this. Candidates, I'm going to welcome you to dismiss. Go ahead and get your booths ready for visiting with community members. We'll give them a second. All right, thank you so much everyone for your time tonight.